Over half your food shop could be increasing your risk of cancer. That's the stark reality for us Brits, with 57% of our diet now dangerously ultra-processed. The science is in, and it's shocking. Major UK studies directly link these foods to our biggest killers: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and cancer. So what are they, and why are they everywhere? We're exposing the foods your own GP is getting worried about, unpacking the evidence from the British Heart Foundation, and giving you simple swaps to take back control of your health. As always, this is not a substitute for medical advice, so please see your GP for any personal health concerns. Here's what most Brits don't know. To understand this problem, you need to forget about calories, fat, or sugar for a second. The truth is, it's not about nutrients. It's about how much your food has been messed with. It's all based on a simple, 4-group scale. Group 1 is easy. It's real food. Fresh fruit and veg, eggs, a proper cut of meat. Group 2 is your kitchen basics, like oil, butter, and salt you'd cook with. Group 3 is just a simple mix of the first two. Think of a good block of cheddar, traditionally made bread, or a tin of carrots. Still pretty normal stuff. But what's shocking is Group 4. Ultra-processed foods. Your NHS GP may not tell you this, but these are industrial formulations. They typically have 5, 10, or even more ingredients. These aren't just modified foods. They are creations, engineered in a lab for an incredibly long shelf life, total convenience, and a taste so appealing you just can't stop. They often bear no resemblance to what they started out as. So, what really makes a food ultra-processed? Here's what the food labels won't tell you. It's the cocktail of ingredients you'd never find in your kitchen. We're talking about industrial substances. Things like high-fructose corn syrup, hydrogenated oils, and protein isolates. Plus a whole list of additives that sound like a chemistry set: emulsifiers, stabilizers, artificial colors, and flavor enhancers. But the truth is, these aren't just for making food last longer. They are designed to create intense textures and addictive flavors that nature can't replicate. What's shocking is how this process completely smashes apart the food's natural structure. Think of it as the food skeleton being destroyed. When that structure is gone, your body digests it all way too fast. The calories, fats, and sugars flood your system almost instantly. This breaks the vital conversation between your stomach and your brain. The signals that scream "I'm full" just don't get through, so you keep eating. Your NHS GP may not have time to explain this, but it's why major studies, using data from our own UK National Diet and Nutrition Survey, find a direct link between these foods and piling on the pound. Here's what most Brits don't know about their weekly shop and their heart health. The British Heart Foundation is sounding the alarm. The evidence linking these foods to a struggling heart is now overwhelming. At a recent meeting of Europe's top cardiologists, the warnings were stark. One giant study of over 325,000 people revealed the truth. Those of us eating the most UPFs were 24% more likely to suffer a heart attack or stroke. And it gets closer to home. Data from the UK's own Biobank study found a direct link. More UPFs meant a higher risk of developing, and even dying from, cardiovascular disease. Think about this: for every 10% of your daily diet that comes from UPFs, your risk of heart disease climbs by 6%. Now, your NHS GP might focus on salt and sugar, but here's what's shocking. Even when scientists account for all the bad stuff we know about, the risk remains. This suggests the industrial processing itself, or the chemical cocktail of additives, could be the real culprit harming our hearts. Here's what most Brits don't know about the link between their food and cancer. The truth is, the evidence is building. A massive study from Imperial College London looked at the diets of 200,000 of us. What they found is genuinely shocking. For every 10% increase in ultra-processed food in your diet, your overall cancer risk went up by 2%. But for ovarian cancer? That risk jumped by a staggering 19%. And it doesn't stop there. Scientists are looking hard at bowel cancer, one of the UK's most common killers. A major US study found men eating the most UPFs had a 29% higher risk of developing it. So, what's going on? Your GP may not have time to break this down, but researchers have three main theories. It's the lack of fiber. It's the presence of certain additives. And it's the simple fact these foods are pushing the genuinely healthy, cancer-protective whole foods right off your plate. So, how do you spot these foods in your own shopping basket? The truth is, it's not always easy. What's shocking is that many are disguised as healthy options. That low-fat yogurt or whole-grain cereal. It could be an ultra-processed trap. Here's what you need to do. Ignore the claims on the front of the pack. That's just clever marketing. Flip it over and read the ingredients. A massive list of ingredients is your first red flag. Your second is a list of names you wouldn't find in a recipe book: modified starches, emulsifiers like soy lecithin, thickeners, or colorings. Here's a simple rule your GP might not tell you: if a packaged bread has 5 or more ingredients, it's very likely ultra-processed. The same goes for ready meals, sauces, and most snacks. Now, not all processing is the enemy. Tinned beans or frozen peas are fine, they're just processed, not ultra-processed. The real problem is the industrial reformulation and all those chemical-sounding extras. Of course, for personal dietary advice, you should always speak with your GP or a registered dietitian. So, what's the plan? Here's the good news: you don't have to be perfect. The goal is reduction, not a complete ban. Here's what most Brits don't know: tiny swaps make a huge difference. That sugary breakfast cereal? Swap it for plain porridge with some fruit. That packaged snack bar you grab at the chemist? Switch it for a handful of nuts. It's that simple. But here's the single most powerful thing you can do. Cook from scratch. Even just a few times a week. The truth is, it puts you back in control of what's on your plate. Your GP might not tell you this, but here's a brilliant hack for a busy week: batch cooking. Make a massive pot of simple soup or a pasta sauce at the weekend. It means you have a quick, healthy meal ready to go, so you're not tempted by those easy, ultra-processed options. You're just shifting the balance back to real food, one meal at a time. So, what's the key takeaway here? We've seen that these ultra-processed foods make up a staggering part of the average UK diet, with a growing body of science linking them to serious, long-term health issues. The most powerful step you can take is simply to start making small swaps. Get familiar with spotting those long, industrial-looking ingredient lists and begin gently trading them for more whole foods. It doesn't have to be a massive overhaul. Every simple switch from a processed snack to a piece of fruit, or a ready meal to a home-cooked dinner, is a brilliant step for your health. Of course, for any advice tailored to you, please have a chat with your GP or an NHS dietitian. If this helped you, share it with someone you care about.